If you've done a few pop-ups or you're getting ready to participate in your first ever vendor event, you may be wondering how to plan out which type of products to bring to the event. Most marketing experts online will tell you that you need to niche down when you are trying to build an online store from the ground up, to really hone in on your target audience and start to build a loyal customer base. But when you're attending an in-person vendor event, you have pretty limited control in choosing the audience base, and by that I mean really choosing which customers are going to walk by your booth at the particular event. So that being said, does it actually make sense to offer a wide variety of products at these types of events to try to cater to a larger pool of customers? Or should you really stick with your niche product? That is what we're going to be talking about today. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the pros and cons of each option. And then at the end, we'll talk about how to move forward with the next steps. And we'll do that by taking a look at kind of a case study. So I recently had a subscriber comment this exact question on one of my recent videos. And what I'll do is kind of walk you guys through how I would go about having a conversation with her to help her make the best decision for her brand. And that will help you kind of start to think about how you can move forward with your own brand. So first up, we're going to take a look at option number one, which is offering a wide variety of products. So let's take a look at some of the pros of this approach. First up, we have the fact that you will appeal to a broader audience. By offering a range of products, you increase the chances of attracting different types of customers who may find something they like. Next up, we have increased foot traffic. A more diverse product selection can draw more visitors to your booth and potentially lead to more sales. And lastly, we have flexibility. You can adapt your offerings based on what's popular at the event or what customers are looking for. Now let's take a look at some of the cons. First up, we have brand identity. It can be challenging to establish a clear brand identity or message if your product range is too broad. We also have inventory management, and managing a wide variety of products may require more complex inventory management and may lead to overstock or understock issues. So the last thing you want to do is get stuck with a ton of inventory. And then lastly, we have focus. So again, it may be harder to stand out in a crowded market if you're offering a little bit of everything without a unique angle. Okay, so now let's move forward and talk about niching down. And first, let's start off with the pros. So pro number one is targeted appeal. Niche products can attract a specific customer base that is particularly interested in what you offer. And that could potentially lead to higher conversion rates, which is awesome. Next up, we have brand differentiation. A focused product selection helps build a strong, recognizable brand and can position you as an expert in that niche. And lastly, we have customer loyalty. You may build a loyal following of customers who appreciate your specialized offerings and may be more likely to return later on. And by return, I mean they might actually come back and shop your website later down the line. And of course, we have some cons to this approach, right? So the first one is limited audience. You might miss out on sales from customers who don't fit your niche, but might have bought something from a broader selection. Event fit. Depending on the event, a niche market might not be as well represented, potentially limiting your sales opportunities. Risk of unsold inventory. If the niche doesn't resonate with the event's audience, you might end up with unsold products. You want to figure out which particular event makes sense for your brand. And that can be hard, and especially when you're just getting started and you're trying to find events. And that actually brings me to a good point. If you are struggling to find events, then you need to download my app this fall. So what I'm doing is I'm launching an app that will make it so much easier for you as a vendor to find vendor events. Now, at these vendor events, sometimes you'll find that the event's audience isn't right for you, or the organizer just does a horrible job and they don't attract enough shoppers, and it ends up being a complete waste of your time. Well, with my app, I want you to avoid that at all costs, because you're going to have the ability to read reviews of the event organizer before you agree to sign up for that particular event, so that you can find out if the event makes sense for your audience. So hopefully this app will help you solve some of those issues that we're kind of talking about and help you figure out which events are worth your time and which events you should skip. So with that, the app should be launching later this fall. You can join the email subscription list or my Facebook group to find out more information and be informed when it's ready to be launched. I will link to both in the description bar down below. But with that, let's get back to the content. So let's take a look at some of my recommendations for what you should do moving forward. Now, just overall, before we get into the particular case study that I want to talk about, just in general, what I would say is you need to understand the event. Research the event's audience and theme to decide if a niche approach or broad product selection is more suitable. You also want to test both approaches. So as you're kind of thinking about how this makes sense for your brand with these pros and cons, you don't have to make a decision and stick with it today. You can test out both strategies. If feasible, you could offer a range of products at one event and focusing on a niche at another to see which one works best for you. Better yet, if you're able to do the same event twice and test out both options. So maybe you are a skincare vendor, but you realize that some shoppers are very loyal to their existing skincare vendors, or maybe they have very sensitive skin, so they're nervous about trying new products without having, reviews from influencers, right? I mean, it's 2024. That's what world we live in, right? But what you could do is offer a candle, and I've talked about this before. I'm pretty sure I've given this example before in a previous video, but you offer a candle as something else they could potentially purchase from you if they're not interested in your skincare. So that allows you to focus. Maybe 80% of your products are skincare, but 20% are candles. So you do have something. Maybe maybe it's two girls. The friend is purchasing the skincare, the other friend's just standing there, and rather than just stare at you blankly because they don't want your skincare, they could say, oh, this candle's nice, I'll purchase this. So now let's get into that case study. I had a subscriber recently comment, does it also matter if you're trying to attract a niche community of your own? For example, I'm not a huge girly girl, but I do love blue purple palettes. I often see pink orange palettes from female vendors, and they might be selling very feminine products, all good and well, but it does not attract me. On the other hand, a variety of colors and neat items catch my eye. Is it more important to create booth styles based on 90% of visitors, or based on you and the community you're trying to draw in? So let's talk about how I would approach this. First up, what I would tell the brand is to start by clearly defining your brand identity. If you're passionate about certain colors or styles, like the blue-purple palettes you mentioned, use them to create a distinctive brand image. This helps in attracting a niche community that resonates with your aesthetic. For instance, if your brand is more minimalistic, or if you have a unique color palette, lean into whatever makes sense for your brand. Next, you want to understand your event audience. Evaluate the typical audience at the events you're attending. If the majority are drawn to more vibrant feminine palettes and products, it might be beneficial to incorporate some of these elements into your booth. However, you don't have to completely change your style. You want to find a balance. You can offer a few items that appeal to a broader audience while maintaining your unique brand identity. So I would go back to the 80-20 rule. 80% of your products should draw in your ideal customer base, and 20% could be to offer for the wider audience at the event. Next, you want to think about creating a compelling booth experience. You want to design a booth to reflect both your unique style and the interest of your target audience. Use your preferred colors and product styles to create a visually appealing and cohesive booth. Incorporate elements that attract visitors, like interactive displays or eye-catching product arrangements, while staying true to your brand's core. Next up, engage with your niche community. While you aim to attract a broad audience, don't neglect your niche. Engage with those who share your interests and values by offering products and experiences tailored to them. This could be through exclusive collections, special promotions, or themed events. And lastly, monitor and adapt. Observe the reactions of both your niche community and the general visitors. Adapt your approach based on what resonates best. For example, if you find that your unique styles draw a dedicated following, focus more on expanding that niche while experimenting with broader appeal items. So in summary, blending a unique brand identity with an understanding of the event's audience can create a compelling and successful pop-up strategy. Attract and engage your niche community while also catering to broader tastes to maximize your impact and sales. Because at the end of the day, it all truly comes down to sales, right? If we don't bring in enough money at that event, it's going to be hard to keep the lights on in our business. So you definitely want to think about what that means and how you find balance. If you're attending events and you're making a ton of sales by sticking to your niche product, then by all means, stick to that. Do not deviate. Why would you? But if you're trying to build a local audience, which would help you bring in that additional amount of money to help you grow your business, your online business on the side, then you want to think about what you can do to make that money to therefore take and grow your business. Because you need money coming in to continue to grow. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed. I think I'm going to end it here. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. And check out some of my other videos. I've got a whole series called the Let's Pop Shop series where I teach you everything you need to know to master the art of selling at pop-up events, vendor events, festivals, farmers markets, any type of event. We're going to cover it. So with that, like I said, let me know if you have any questions. Join the Facebook group, join the email list. If you're looking for displays to help you make an aesthetically pleasing booth, I've got my favorite go-to website, Displays to Go. I'll link it here. And then also, if you're looking for additional products to help you kind of branch out and offer a wider variety of products, my favorite wholesale marketplace is Faire. I will link to them in the description bar as well. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.